Chapter 9, Section 9.1. Chapter 9, we need to talk about inequality. First, I want to make sure you understand the difference between inequality and equation. Let's look at one simple example. Equation x plus 2 is equal to 5, and on the right side, I have inequality, x plus 2 less than 5. See, what's the difference? When I want to solve this equation, first degree equation, what number I should add to 2 to have 5? Obviously, that number is 3. There is only one possibility. There is only one solution. But when you have x plus 2 less than 5, the symbol for less than is less than and equal is this one, and greater than equal is this symbol. Okay, so x plus 2 less than 5 means find the numbers that when I substitute for the x and add 2 to that number, the outcome is always less than 5. So in that case, it's not just one number, it's many numbers, infinite numbers between 3 and minus infinity. See, all these numbers satisfy this inequality, like what? Like 3. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. What about 2? 2 plus 2 is 4. Is 4 less than 5? Yes. 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 is less than 5. Negative 1. Negative 1 plus 2 is negative 1. See, there are so many numbers or infinite numbers between 3 and minus infinity. So the answer is all the numbers between negative 3 and negative infinity. And if you have an equality sign here, then you have a bracket here. So you see the difference between inequality equation. First degree equation has only one answer, but inequality has so many answers. So that's why we need to show it in the parentheses of bracket or on the graph. When you graph it, you get to show that all the numbers less than 3. So I put a bracket for 3. That means 3 is also included because of equality sign. And then, for instance, if I want to graph x less than 4, in that case, on the number line, you label a point which is 4, and then it's a parentheses to the left to minus infinity. It is a parenthesis because it doesn't have equality sign. And then if you want to show it, you could show it like this, that negative infinity, comma, 4. Or let's say x is greater than minus 7, right? Is greater, so on the number line, you label on the number line, you label negative 7. X is greater than those numbers, so it goes all the way from here to positive infinity. Now, and it's parentheses again because it doesn't have equality sign. Now, if you do have an equality sign, let's say here, x greater than equal to 2, then you're using the bracket. That means 2 also is one of the number, all the way to positive infinity. All right, so now on the homework problems, it's solving this equation, 2x plus 1 divided by 5 less than minus 11. Okay. So when you're dealing with fraction, the best way to do it is first, I want to get rid of this 5. So I multiply both sides by 5. When you multiply both sides by 5, these two cancel. 5 multiplied by that. You solve this, x finally is less than minus 28. Now, they ask us to solve algebraically. They don't want us to graph, but I'll just show you here. If you also ask you to graph it, that's how you graph it. Why is it parentheses? Because it doesn't have equality sign. So it's all the numbers between minus 28 and minus infinity, because it said that x is less than that. Less than minus 28 is all these numbers, minus 27, minus 26, all the way to minus infinity. The second problem is that one. So what I did was I tried to collect all the y on the right side. The reason is this. I have minus 6y and minus 5y. On the number line, minus 6 is to the left of minus 5. So minus 5 is larger than minus 6. You always collect the variables on the side that has a larger coefficient or larger number. So minus 5 is greater than minus 6y. Therefore, I collect all the y on this side. I'll put 6y and 6y. So you end up having minus 7 greater than y. Minus 7 greater than equal to y, or you could just say y is less than negative 7. This is like this. Let me give you an example. Like, let's say Mike is taller than Joe. That also means that Joe is shorter than Mike. Okay? So for that reason, when you have negative 7 greater than 1, you could also say y is less than negative 7. The reason we like to have the y on this side, so it's easier to see it on the graph. Y is less than minus 7. All the numbers less than minus 7. Y is a bracket because it has an equality sign. We also have problem number 3. So we do the distribution first. We bring the 5 and multiply by each. Before we move variables and numbers, you simplify, like 5t and 6t is 11t. Now, I have 11t on this side and 6t on this side. 11t is larger, so I correct all the t on that side. So t is less than 29 over 5, or let's say it's like 5.8. So all the numbers less than 29 over 5 or 5.8 is on this side. So it would be between minus 29 and negative 8. So again, it's solved algebraically. It means you don't really need to graph it, but I just want to I want you to see how a graph works. Now, problem number 4. Solve algebraically and write the answer using both set builder notation, interval notations. See, problem like this, it's like you're dealing with 2 separate graphs. One graph is f of x, which is x minus 5. What you have on the other side, 1, is your second equation, g of x. What I do is first, I graph each separately. How do I graph y equal x minus 5? All I needed to come up with 3 arbitrary points. This could be any points. I use 0 because it's an easy point to use. So you put 0 here, y is negative 5. You put 6 here, y is 1. So you have 3 points. You graph f of x. Y equal 1 or g of x equal 1, this is a horizontal line. So on y equal 1, you graph that one. Now I need to find point of intersection. I need to know this point that y equal 1 and y equal x minus 5 or f of x and g of x intersect. In that case, what you do is you solve these equations. You just say x minus 5 equal to 1. See here? You just say x minus 5 is equal to 1. So x is 6. When you find the 6, then it's right here because there is no value for y 0. This is an intersection. So now, in original problem, we say that f of x, which is x minus 5, is less than g of x, means this side is less than the other side. Or we are saying that f of x is less than g of x. Since f of x is less than g of x, you got to look to the graph, and you see the f of x lie below graph of g of x when x is less than 6. See here in these sections, f of x, which is this guy here, this is f of x, is above g of x. See, on this side, when you go greater than 6, like 7, 8, or 9, f of x, this line is above this line, g of x. But when you go less than 6, when you go to this direction, then g of x greater than f of x, or f of x is less than g of x. And that's what we're asking the problem. In the problem, you're saying f of x is less than g of x. Means we are interested on this section that g of x is above f of x. And that is when x is less than 6. When x is less than 6, all the way from 6 to negative infinity, then f of x is less than g of x, or g of x is above f of x. The same thing for these problems. You have two equations. One is f of x is 3x minus 2. The other one is g of x equal to 1. See, g of x is 1, and f of x is 3x minus 2. So we graph f of x. How do I graph f of x? To graph f of x, you just open the table x on y. X is 0, y is negative 2, x is 1, y is 1. When you graph it, this is f of x. You graph f of x, okay? By just plugging 2 or 3 points. So we graph f of x, and this is g of x. Original problem, it said that f of x is greater than 1, which is g of x. So original problem is state that f of x is greater than g of x. So you look to see here, greater than 1, g of x is below f of x, means f of x is greater. But when you go beyond this point, then g of x is above f of x. See, from here to the left, then g of x is greater than f of x. So g of x is greater than f of x, or f of x is greater than, is less than g of x. But what we're looking for, these sections, the section that f of x is greater than g of x, not g of x, this is opposite, right? So you're looking for this part. In that case, it would be from 1 to, see, from 1, any number greater than 1, like 2, 3, this piece, which is f of x, is above g of x. Problem number 6 is also very similar. Now, we are dealing with two equations, g of f and f of x. In the beginning, f of x is greater than g of x. So when you graph each, and when you find the point of intersections, you are looking for area that f of x is greater than g of x, which is this section. From here to the left, you see this line is above this line. So, and this point is 7 and 9. So less than 7, which is to the left, this piece, which is piece of f of x, is greater than g of x. That's what you have here. Less than 7, this section is above this section, means f of x is above g of x. The last problem is just translation of these word problems that already relate. Okay, so the 160t is less than 1080, therefore t is less than 6.25 because he said the flat fee is 1,080, but over rate is 160. 160 times T. That was the last problems on 10.1 homework.